Hello and welcome back to another Bad Movie Reviews review hosted by your favourite infected film lover from down under, Ben. Firstly, Happy New Year. This is my first review for 2026, first of many, and it is none other than 28 years later, The Bone Temple, which, if you're not familiar, is the follow-up to 28 Years Later, which only came out 7 months ago now, I believe in the middle of June, so might be one of the quickest turnarounds for a sequel I've ever seen. I know they were made at the same time. And essentially, it picks up almost instantly after the events of the 28 Years Later film, where we obviously see Spike and the Jimmy gang basically meet each other, obviously, at the end of that film. And we pick up pretty much right where we left off. Now, this film is also penned by Alex Garland, who did obviously pen the previous 28 Years Later film, 28 Days Later. He's obviously written and directed multiple films like Annihilation, Civil War, Ex Machina, and Nia DaCosta obviously directs the film, who previously has done films like MCU's Marvels, Candyman. She did Hedda last year, which I haven't seen yet, unfortunately, due to Australian release dates. But without further ado, we'll get into the review. And it's probably a film I was anticipating. I really, just for full transparency, I really loved 28 Years Later. I know some people either think it's, a horror masterpiece. I have some friends, for instance, who just don't like it at all, but love 28 Days Later and even Weeks Later. But I know when I put out my review for 28 Years, I stand by what I said. I said I loved it, but I did comment on the last few minutes of the film and the tonal shift that kind of came, the comedic aspect, because I must say the first film is very much, or the first film in this trilogy, this new trilogy per se, there's probably not really funny moments in there. It's very much a film about morality. Obviously, there's the whole Memento Mori aspect that they really, deep dive into. And then the last few minutes kind of felt like tonally a massive shift, which after watching this, I don't have any issue with, to be honest. And I must say, Nia DaCosta, obviously bringing in that new director for the film, obviously Danny Boyle doing the previous one, I was not so much worried, but just interested to see the stylistic choice. And while there is still those stylistic aspects that stay the same, like, the infected running with, the camera attached to kind of their chest and looking up, and there's still those aspects to it, but she definitely makes it her own, and I think she is great here. She directed like extremely well and brought the best out of the cast. I think Jack O'Connell is probably one of the most underrated actors working. Obviously, he was fantastic in Sinners, which most people have probably seen now, and I adore the film, and I think he is genuinely fantastic in this film as Sir Jimmy Crystal. And I think Ray Fiennes, who obviously seen in the previous one, definitely gets a bigger role here, obviously, as Dr. Kelson. And he's fantastic here, genuinely fantastic. I think that's probably one of my favourite Ray Fiennes roles that I've seen. And I think Alfie Williams and the rest of the Jimmy crew and the supporting cast are all really great and really creepy. And I think everyone here is just fantastic. And I think Nia definitely brought that out of everyone. But I think the strongest part of the film is actually the script and the screenwriting. I think Alex Garland's written a phenomenal story here and script. And I think it really dives more into the lore of obviously this franchise and the lore of the infected, but also obviously the religious aspects that I know it kind of touched on previously. But obviously with the Jimmy gang, I really enjoyed that, and I must say it's probably the most creative while also disturbing written thing to come out of a studio system in years. Obviously, we're talking Sony Pictures, right? We're not talking independent studios that are financing these films. It's obviously big money attached to this, and some of the writing here and some of the creativity and some of the stuff that happens on screen is genuinely wild to me under this studio system. But I had so much fun with this. It is gruesome. It is hard to watch at times. It's very hard to watch at times with what's happening on the screen. But it is genuinely the way the Nia handles the tone, because this film does have a lot of funny moments. It is somewhat humorous, and the way she manages the tone of being really hard to watch, really, really messed up, really, really gruesome, kind of creepy, painful viewing, and I mean that complimentary to laughter and these moments and these special moments with these characters, these human moments with these characters. It feels very, very special. And I walked out of it and I loved it. Not walked out of the film, obviously, but walked out after watching the film. And it just kind of solidified. I think, I'm not going to say it's necessarily better or worse than the previous one, because I've obviously only just come out of it, but I had an absolute ball, and I would recommend this to anyone who enjoyed 28 Years Later. Bear in mind, it's obviously a lot less of an emotional film, this one. The previous films obviously dives into that. This film, different aspects, and it's just kind of solidified, and it's just made me so excited for the next one, obviously, which I believe is being greenlit already, and it makes me super keen to see what unfolds in the story and what will more likely be focusing on certain characters that might not necessarily be focused in this. But I'm just happy to say this is a seriously great film and really, really fun time. And if you love the previous one, even if you don't like it, obviously, as I said, it goes probably more into that emotional aspect. You more than likely will probably enjoy this. I think this is probably a film probably not necessarily more accessible, but that will probably be liked by more audiences, because I do know a lot of people who think the previous one's a masterpiece in storytelling, and then some people who might like just your action, your horror, didn't necessarily, whereas you probably get more of that in this, or you do get more of that in this, but still a story that really, really dives into humanity, religious undertones, or even overtones. It's very much on the nose, and I loved it. But if you have seen it, comment below, let me know what you think. If you like the review, give us a like, follow us more. I'll catch you next time.